Hi friends, if you're like me, you're very excited about the new version of Lightroom that Adobe released just yesterday, October 10th, 2023. There's a number of new features that they've added. I'm going to share with you today the one that I'm most excited about, and that's something called point color. And the thing that I love most about this function is not the fact that you can change color. We've been able to do that for a while using the HSL panel, but now you can apply it within a mask in Adobe Lightroom. So let me show you how this works. First of all, this is version 13 of Adobe Lightroom. Now I'm in Lightroom Classic. Some of these features are also in the other versions, Lightroom Mobile and Lightroom, but we're going to be looking at Lightroom Classic. So version 13 is the most recent version. Now when you do upgrade to version 13 from a previous version, you'll get a message that prompts you to update your catalog or upgrade your catalog. Don't be alarmed by that. It makes a copy of your current Lightroom catalog and then upgrades the copy to be compatible with version 13. Now, of note, catalogs are not backwards compatible. So you cannot open your version 13 catalog in older versions of Lightroom. So if you use Lightroom on multiple computers, you probably want to make sure that you're running the same version on the different computers so your catalog is compatible with all your installations. Anyway, so let me show you how this technique works. So we've always had, or have had for a very long time, the hue, saturation, lightness adjustments in Adobe Lightroom. So I'm in the Develop module. There's this image of the Goodyear blimp that just landed here in Tustin, here in Southern California, for some maintenance this week. It was really cool to see it come in and be put to bed in the hangar there. Under the section that used to be called HSL Color, it's now called Color Mixer in the Develop panel. We have the Mixer section, which is our familiar HSL adjustments, hue, saturation, and lightness. And of course, hue refers to what color is it in the spectrum. Is it red? Is it orange? Is it blue? Is it green? So on. Saturation refers to the intensity of color. Luminance refers to the brightness of color. So with those three adjustments, we can make changes to color within our image. So for example, though, historically, the HSL color adjustments have been global. That is, when we change a color, it changes it everywhere it exists within the image. And so looking at our traditional HSL adjustments here that we've always had, I'm going to click on saturation, for example. That's an easy one to see. And I'm going to use this target adjustment tool. That's this little bullseye icon here. I'm going to click on that to activate that tool. And let me zoom in just a little bit so we can see, maybe not quite that much. Let's zoom out a little. Zoom out a little more here. And I'm going to click on the yellow of the Goodyear logo and set that by using this target adjustment tool. I don't have to guess at how Adobe sees those colors. I think of it as yellow. Lightroom may think of it as yellow and orange or something like that, some mix of colors. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag up or down to change the saturation. And you'll notice that, yeah, sure, it changes the saturation of the Goodyear logo, but everywhere else where that combination of orange and yellow exists in the image, it's changing that color everywhere. So as I drag that up and down, you see it changes in the grass, in the dirt, elsewhere in the blimp. So it's a global adjustment. It's affecting it everywhere in the image. All right, let me reset those sliders to their 0 point. That's the way it's worked until now. They've just called it Mixer now. It's under a section called Color Mixer instead of HSL Color, and it's called Mixer. Now we also have under this Color Mixer section, though, something called Point Color. This is the new part. And this part, in this context, works exactly the same way as what you just saw. It's just a different way to access it. We have an eyedropper tool, a sampler tool now. I'm going to click on my yellow again of the Goodyear logo, and it sets that color. And then I can either use this color picker style adjustment here and drag my pointer around. Left to right changes hue. Up and down changes saturation. And the slider here on the right changes the luminosity. All right, so it's the same basic adjustments. You also have slider versions of those here below. But it's doing the same thing effectively that the HSL, or what's now called the Mixer section, does for us. Okay, so let me reset all of that just so we're clear nothing is being affected here. So I'm going to create a new mask for just the Goodyear logo. I've tried this a couple different ways, and it turns out the brush is the easiest way to create this, or to mask the logo. So I'm just going to paint over the Goodyear logo, and I'm not being particularly careful about this. I just want to get the Goodyear logo painted in. I'm using a green overlay for the mask tool instead of the default red. But I'm going to adjust my brush size here, make sure I get the end of that. Even with auto masking, it's a little sloppy. I'm not worried about that right now. Now I want to be sure that I don't get any of the yellow stripe here, so I'm going to click on my Option or Alt key on Windows and paint away areas here where I may have slopped over into the yellow stripe here. So I'm going to be sure it's just the logo, whoops, just the logo that's selected. Now with the mask in place, I'm going to scroll down to the point color section in my masking tools. Now the point color section is also a separate section in the right hand develop panel, so make sure that you don't scroll past your masking tools. Make sure you're still working within the masking tools. But we have our point color section right here. Just like before, I'm going to click on the sampler tool, and when you click on the sampler tool, it hides your mask overlay, so you can actually see the color that you want to select. And I'm just going to click on the yellow here in the Goodyear logo. So that's sampled that color, shows me the current color, and now I can play, I'm just going to use sliders, I can play with changing the color. So I can change the hue, so from the current yellow I can go to green, I can go to red, I can change the saturation. And you can see as I do this, I can see the deficits in my mask here, and I can change the luminosity. So while I've got it here in red, I can see it really well. I'm going to just go back with my brush tool and clean up my mask a little bit. Makes it a little easier to see what we're doing. Make sure we get all the parts here. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. And you would be more careful about this than I'm being here. But the point is that now I'm only affecting that color in the mask. So notice as I change the color here from red to its normal yellow to green, that it doesn't affect the grass. It doesn't affect the yellow stripes on the blimp. It doesn't affect the yellow of the stabilizer fins. It's only affecting the area that I've masked. Such a cool technique. I've waited for this technique for a long time. I always thought when I'm in the masking tool, why can't we have selective color, within the mask tool? Now we have it, and it's this point color function in your masking tools. Try it out, see how it works for you, and share your results in the links below.